Alright guys, so you might be wondering, why is that thing not in the truck? So sometimes it's just how it goes. You screw things up, you just got to fix it. So in this case, we went ahead and pulled the motor back out with the trans, because when we installed the Fatbot kit, we actually put the clutch lines in backwards. So we had an air pocket that we could not get rid of. So take everything out, flip it over, and that way we won't have to deal with clutch issues once we finally get this thing running. So today, sorry, I'm trying to yell over this heater, but today we're gonna get this thing slapped back together. If all goes well, we're gonna get back in here, start trying to tune and run this thing, and then hopefully we can hear this thing run for the first time. So guys, the reason we have to do this is actually that one-piece drive shaft we have made. There's a cross member, and when the truck's up in the air and the suspension's fully hanging, it actually will set it. Let's see if I can kind of show you this. You can see up there, it'll actually set that drive shaft on the cross member. Good pal. Is the drive shaft out now?
No.
What?
Obviously it's out.
Oh, cool. That's pretty good. Clicking again.
So either that's not the crank.
I might have the crank signal mixed up here, because we're not getting any RPM. So we'll try a couple. A lot of these sensors, or a lot of these plugs, are obviously the same. So we'll try a couple different setups here and see if we can make sure the right one's plugged in. I think once we have RPM, it'll probably go. It's stressful. And this whole intake catches on fire. Yep. Thing, guys, it's firebomb pretty good, obviously, with no exhaust on it. So we're gonna put the headers on, and we're gonna put just enough to get our O2 on there, and see if we can get this thing to run a little bit more. Obviously, we don't have any of the cooling stuff hooked up yet, but that's pretty much it. So we're gonna see if we can cut these off the other exhaust and just get it going. Eric did order a set of turbo headers, so this thing might eventually be turbo, but either way, we got to put turbo headers on at some point, so we're just going to kind of make it work for now. Okay, we're just getting the rest of the spark plug wires back on here. And we got the headers on, so we're pretty much ready to go. See if it runs for a little bit. See what it sounds like. Right. So there's three sensors that have the same plug, which is the crank, the cam, and the map sensor, and they're not labeled. So we're running into, what do we have right there? We had
a circuit low
camshaft.
So I'm assuming it's just not reading the cam. So we swapped the one that was plugged in at the map sensor.
Oh yeah.
How fucking sick is that?
Nice.
Dude.
So camshaft. So we had the camshaft switched.
So
or
we
something.
had the cam off time. We probably didn't have the sensor in the right spot.
It runs.
Don't buy Chinese eBay wiring harnesses. Just buy for the fucking trouble we had with this. The money you would have spent on like a PSI harness that's already labeled would have saved you so much time.
You could use the eBay harness,
but you're gonna.
You would almost need to map the things.
Yeah,
but you still wouldn't know because it's the same.
Unless unless you look at a wiring diagram and label it based off of colors.
Right, which even still, so yeah, there's always a cost basis, but like the time that you save is much better than the cost there. Now we also have a pretty large fuel leak.
I don't even know if it's fuel.
That might even be. I don't know what that would be.
You know anything now? You jinxed us, pal.
Of course. Oh yeah. I was gonna ask. Is that all the dipstick?
Yep.
Okay.
I just looked and I saw the whole.
Gotcha. Because that's why, like earlier, I was like, "Did we put the dipstick in?" But I didn't ask.
You know, I really didn't think that it was that big of a deal, but apparently it is.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have windows tray, so.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't tell if it's leaking still. It's a pretty decent leak. Sweet.
Why does it smell like salmon?
Cool. Well.
Doesn't sound like it's not getting oil, so I think that's good.
Yeah, sounds good. It friggin' runs. This is a junkyard engine. Junkyard engine with the Summit cam. Truck intake. Obviously, we wanted to run the intake Lenny set up for us from Timworks, but
just couldn't get
that was a crappy intake. That's just the honest truth of it. That was another kind of eBay lesson there, which is fair. Most of the eBay parts are working right now. Did you do that?
Oh.
It was running on 7 cylinders in that last clip.
Well, let's get 1 of 8.
Starts fast, man. Here's the thing, it runs, which is super awesome. We got all that worked out. The thing actually runs, and it runs well from all of the 17 seconds it's run. But radiator hoses, we do not have them, and we don't have like a great solution yet. So basically, to give you kind of a rundown, doing this swap, like we took out the core support for the small block Chevy swap to get this exact radiator in here. This is a 20, let's say it's a 27 by 19, right? There's, 18, something like that. So this radiator has, pretty typical inlet and outlet. This is a 1.5 inlet and a 1 3/4 outlet. Now this Speedmaster electric water pump, they're both 1.5 fittings, and you can already see, even though, like, once again, this is the core support's cut out, so this radiator is further forward than it would have been anyways. You can see if I put the camera like straight up here, like there's only room to essentially do a 90 and come down and 90 back into this. The lower hose is fine, as long as we have something that'll reduce it to a 1.5, which we looked online, we can find those. But this solution here also needs to involve the thermostat. So it's a very tight spot, as you can see, and we just have to. No one's gonna have stuff for this, so we've got to order something. some 90s or something that'll make this work so that we can hook that up and have the thermostat working. But we don't have that here, and there's nowhere here to go buy these things. So yeah, so we're still mulling over how we're gonna make this work. So unfortunately, even though it's freaking awesome that this thing's running, we can't really let it run for too long, and we gotta wait a little bit again for parts to make it work. Like I said, we've got some stuff, but once we get that done, it's put the drive shaft back in, make sure the clutch is working, trans fluid, and anything else is just, I think, small little crap. So it should be drivable pretty soon, but we gotta be able to keep it cool so we can tune it.
We weld that in there, because I'm pretty positive it's aluminum. Cut that out, clean it up, and if I can stick that in there and weld it in there, then the thermostat housing's on the radiator. And then you just gotta take these screws out to get the thermostat out if you need to.
Right. It's freaking close.
I think it'll work.
I wish we had performance shops.
Yeah, but we, it's not the end of the world. It could be.
It freaking runs. It's a junkyard engine out of like an 06
1500 HD.
1500 HD, yeah. And an AR5. Well, the AR5's yet to prove itself, but
I think the AR5 will be fine.
Should be fine. So
Doesn't know the gears and everything. So.
yeah. We're gonna end it off there, guys, and hopefully the next video of this thing is not only running but is actually driving. So see you in the next one.